All right, we are going to go ahead and look at 9.6 inverse trig functions. You did a little bit of this already. And so we're going to look at that just a little bit here. And so I'm going to go over the most important aspects of this real quick. So let's go ahead and get started. All righty. All right, there we go. So we're going to look at this here, right here. Well, that's why I did it differently. All right, we're going to look at this right here. So just remember that your inverse sines, cosines, and tangents is how you find angles. Your sines, cosines, and tangents are how you find sides. So just remember that, have that written down. And when we solve right triangles, we're going to find all sides and angles. And we need, for a triangle, so we're going to have to find all three sides, all three angles. And we're going to start our problems, we're either going to have two sides or we're going to have a side and an angle. Okay, so I'm going to help you with a couple of problems in your book. And so here we go. And hopefully tomorrow I'll also have some of these things typed when we do new subjects. We're just trying to make do right now. So the first one we're going to look at is the cosine of the angle is 4/5. Here's my triangle. And we're determining which of the two acute angles has the given trigonomic ratio. Okay, this looks good. So this is what your problem should look like here. It's not super dark, but I'm going to redraw the triangle and we're going to look at it. Okay? And so that's what I would recommend you do if you're not seeing it, is just redraw it. And it will be good. Okay? And you just need a simple little triangle. No big deal. You know, if you have a straight edge, it's probably better. Okay, 8, 10, 9. 8, 10, 6, I mean. 6, and then it's 10. All right, we're looking for a cosine of an angle is going to equal 4/5. Okay. So I can tell already that I don't have a 4 or a 5, so I'm going to have to reduce something. So I think 8 over 10 would be 4/5. 8 over 10. Oh, I probably should do this too. B, A, C. All right, so 8 over 10 is what I want to go, and I want cosine. Okay, cosine is SOHCAHTOA, so that would be the co part. So ca. So adjacent over hypotenuse. So I want to have the adjacent over the hypotenuse, 8 over 10. So it looks like C. So I think that this would be cosine C is going to be 8 over 10, which is going to reduce down to 4/5. So that should be my answer. So it says, determine which of the two acute angles has a given ratio. So I would say angle C is the answer. Okay, you can give me feedback if this helps on the actual assignment. All right, let's move on down the road to number 7. So this would be 3 in your book. It should be the first one in your big ideas. So let's go to number 7. And it's going to say, let D be an acute angle. Use a calculator to approximate the measure of D to the nearest tenth of a degree. Okay, so basically what this is like this, and don't make this into something that it's not. It should be easy. So we're trying to find an angle, so instead of this, I'm going to do this. You couldn't even see what I was doing. That's horrible. So this is what the problem is, but we don't need to do that because we're trying to find an angle. So we're going to have this. Okay. And so that's just calculator work. Let's turn it on. And so we're going to do second inverse sine. And then we're going to do 0.75. Make sure I'm right. Let's see if this works. Does that work? No, that just blurs it. There we go. That's less glary. And that's what we get. And it says to round to something to the nearest tenth of a degree. So for 8.5, that means I'm going to round up that 5 because of the 9. So it's going to be 48.6. So 48.6. Okay. Looking good so far. I think the rest of them are fine. But then we're going to get to solve the right triangle, round the decimal answer to the nearest. So this is when it starts getting hard. Let me go ahead and get a page that works here. Okay, I got my book all kinds of weird. Okay, I got it a little disorganized here. There we go. We're good now. So let's go ahead and look at 13, and I don't know if it's labeled like that in your big ideas, but it is that way in your book, and so we're going to get this done real quick. So I'm going to draw this little triangle here. Let's draw it up. This time I'll use color too. Okay, and you really just need a model triangle. It doesn't have to be exactly right. Just close enough. And I will label this all nice and pretty. So you have all the information you need. So this is A, C, B, and this is 9 and 12. Okay, so there's multiple ways you can do this. We know multiple ways we can do this. We could use the Pythagorean theorem to get this one. I'd rather use trig because it's less work technically, but you could use a Pythagorean theorem. You could just do, well, let me assign variables to what I need. I'm going to need this, I'm going to need this, and I'm going to need this. So you could do 9 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. But I want to use trig because ultimately I need to use that. So I'm going to, sure, why don't we start here? And once I get an angle, I can start doing all kinds of good things. So I'm going to start here. So to find angle A, I am going to, well, let's go ahead and label this out. From A, this is going to be opposite. This is going to be adjacent. And this is always the hypotenuse. All right, so let's go ahead and do this here. So SOHCAHTOA. Okay, it looks like my number is opposite and my number is adjacent. So that's going to be TOA. So I'm going to start out there. So tangent of A is going to equal opposite over adjacent. Okay? And we know since we're trying to find an angle, we're using the inverse. So A is going to equal tangent inverse 12 over 9. So let's go ahead and put that in here into the calculator. Inverse tangent 12 over 9. I'll close it up just to make it pretty. And I'm going to get 53.1. Let's see what it wants me to do here. It wants me to round the decimal answers to the nearest tenth. So 53.1. So A is going to be 53.1 degrees. I'll write that right here, 53.1 degrees. Now, to find B, I don't want to use trig. I got 90, I got 53.1, so they add up to 180. So just do that, 180. Let's get that out of the glare. minus 90 minus 53.1. It's going to leave you 36.9. So that's 36.9. All right, so far so good. Now I just need to come up with x. Like I said, I can use the Pythagorean theorem, but I don't want to. I'm just going to use a. Okay. So let's see here. That's a hypotenuse. I can use whatever I want. I want to use this one because I like 12. 12 is a good number. So if I want to do opposite over hypotenuse, that's going to be sine. So I'm going to do sine of 53.1 is going to equal opposite over hypotenuse. Okay. And so here we go here. They need to switch places. So this is what I actually put in the calculator. Okay. So let's make sure we can do that. So that's 12 sine 53.1. How do I know to use sine and not the inverse? Because I'm looking for a side. And when I'm looking for a side, I use the sine, cosine, or tangent. When I'm looking for an angle, I use the inverse. So I put this in the calculator, make sure it's all like it's supposed to be. Hit enter. And I'm going to get 15.0 for the side. And so that's going to equal 15.0. And so the answers it's really looking for here, it wants to know these two missing angles. So it's going to want to know, those two missing angles. So that would be 53.1. That's angle A. And angle B is going to be 36.9. And angle 15. And the side 15, so AB, I think that's AB, yeah. AB would equal 15. Okay, so let's look at that, where I got all that from. So angle A, angle B, and side AB. All right, we are going to have a Zoom meeting just kind of to take requests for videos to make. And so I'm going to let you to this one. I think you can do it. Well, I think there's some hard ones. So let's go ahead and move on to the hard problems here. So I'm going to show them to you. I forgot about that. I'm going to let you do the stair one by yourself, but these problems, I'm not so sure it's very focused in. Let's try to focus it. That's not focused. There we go. These guys, you should have a problem like this. This is kind of hard because this is no longer a right triangle. We do have a height right here, that is going to help us with this triangle. And so again, when you're starting out on this, you have to have two things. So you have to have two things. I can't start over here. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by separating the triangles. So I'm going to copy down what I need to do, and even though it's on the computer, I still recommend you writing some stuff and things down. So I'm going to split these triangles up because we have two triangles. These are complicated problems. I'm going to split them up. Okay, I'm going to put my right angles here and here, and I'm going to label. This is J, this is M, this is K. And I'm supposed to solve the triangles. So, yeah, I'm supposed to solve these triangles. And let's see here what they want. I'll have to look in the very back of the book to make sure that this is what they want. Alright, so I split up the triangle. And I could have made this bigger. That's 41. And that is going to be 9. And this is going to be 21. Yeah, I'll put the feet because they're going to probably want us to keep them in feet. All right, so what do I need to know? Well, I need all the angles. So I'm going to call this angle K. and all the sides. So I'm going to need this side. So I'm going to call this X. I'm going to call this Y. Okay, which means this is Y. I'm going to call this Z. And then we're going to call this, well, this is K. I can't have two Ks. So we'll call, let's just call this, let's see, we use X, Y, Z. Let's call this A. Let's call this L. Okay. So let's start here. I got 9. Well, I can easily start here by, I got a 90, I got a 41. So that means I have a 49 over here. So measure of angle JKM is 49. Okay, and that's just by subtracting 180. So 180 minus 90 minus 41 is 49. So I got that done. I need to know this X and Y. And I'm just going to start right here at this 41, and that's going to help me. All right, so I'm going to call this opposite. I'm going to call this adjacent. And I'm going to call this hypotenuse. All right, so let's set this up here. So to find the opposite side, to find this Y, so I'm going to do, let's see, that's opposite, and I'm going to use this number because I know it. So that's going to be tangent. Tangent, because that's opposite over adjacent. Tangent of Y, I'm sorry, tangent of 41 equals Y over 9. Okay, well, what do we do in this? Well, we multiply both sides by 9. And so what in the calculator we put is we just put Y is going to equal 9 times tangent 41. And that is going to equal 9 times tangent 41. I don't like that. Yeah, it might work that way, but I don't like the way it looks, so I'm going to do it this way. 7.8, does it tell me to round? It doesn't really tell me to round. I'm going to go ahead and round it anyways. Make sure it works out. So that would be 7.8. So this is going to equal 7.8. So this Y equals 7.8. I'm going to redraw this bigger. So this is going to be 7.8. This is 21. And we're supposed to find A and L still, and Z. Okay. Since it says to solve the triangles, I need to know this X here. And let's see what they do. And so let's find this X. And so that X is going to be slightly different. Let's see, we see it. So that is going to be, I want to refocus it, which I know is super annoying. All right, good. It just looked off to me. So that is opposite over hypotenuse. No, I got this 9. So let's do adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine. So we're going to do cosine of 41 is going to be equal 9. That is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so we need to switch places. So we're going to get X equals 9 over cosine 41. Nine over cosine 41. So yes, this is a long problem if you hadn't figured that out. And we get 11.9. So that's going to equal 11.9. Okay. So we got that side worked out. Okay. So let's go ahead and move to the next shape, which is right here. Okay. Our next shape right here. So we need to get A, L, and Z here. I want to go ahead and get A taken care of. Remember, that's the other K. So from A, this would be opposite. This would be hypotenuse. And this would be adjacent. Okay. So I have a hypotenuse and adjacent, so that's cosine of, I don't know, so we called that A. Cosine of A. And that is going to equal adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, we're finding an angle, so we use the inverse. Okay, and so we are going to go ahead and put that in here. So it's inverse cosine, 7.8, 21. Because we're finding an angle, that would be 68.2. 68.2 degrees. So let's go back up here. So this one is going to be 68.2 degrees. And so then we take 180, subtract 90, subtract 68.2, and we get 21.8. So this would be 21.8. And we got one more to go. We got to find this Z right here. All right, to find that Z, well, let's just start at A because we already have it written down, opposite over hypotenuse. Let's just use hypotenuse and opposite. So let's use sine. So sine of 68.2. Sine of 68.2 is going to equal 21 over Z. I'm sorry, Z over 21. Opposite over hypotenuse. And we're just going to multiply by 21. Multiply by 21. And we put that in our calculator. Z equals 21 times sine 68.2. 21 times sine 68.2. And we get 19.5. 19.5. Okay, that's all the information we need. And so hopefully I can help you get it into the computer. Well, so I'm going to make sure that we have all of our answers the way they're supposed to be, and then I'm going to go over how to do this here. All right. So I had to turn to the back of the book to make sure that we are doing everything the way we're supposed to do. All right. This is what number? It's 27. So basically what it's going to want you to do is it's going to want you to put in all the stuff like this. So it's going to want you to put Km is congruent to, JK is congruent to, okay. So let's go ahead and look at all the stuff. So it's going to want you to put Km, JK, and it's going to have M, JKM, and it's going to have ML, and when we do two curvy things like this, that means it's rounded. I don't think we've gone over that so much, but that's what that means. We're going to have the measure of MLK and angle L. Okay. And measure of, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, MLK. Okay, so those are the three angles we need, three sides we need. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you what this basically means, and then you should be able to enter the answers. So I'm going to go back to the overall shape here, where I'm going to put it back together. So basically what it wanted you to do is put that triangle back to where it was. Okay, so we have J, K, L. Okay, and so it doesn't actually want Z here at the bottom. It wants the 9 plus the Z. So 9 plus the Z, because that's the whole bottom, right? So that's 9, and that would be Z. So it wants the whole bottom. So 9 plus the Z would be, this whole bottom is 28.5. Okay, it wanted this X here. What we had is an X. And so we got 11.9 on that. It wanted this KL. And of course it gave us that KL, that was 21 feet. Okay, it wanted that. And then it wanted all these angles. So it wanted this one to be 41. It wanted this angle L. We called this angle L, didn't we? That was 21.8. And it doesn't want these two angle Ks. It wants the whole angle K. It wants the JKL. So my two angle Ks that I got here was, so let me check my work here. We had a 49 over here. That was 49. And over here we had, what did we have there? That was, I think that was 68.2. It was 68.2. And so we want to add those together to get this whole angle. And so adding those together, that's 49 plus 68.2. So that's going to be 117.2. Goes right in there. So that's the best explanation I got for you right now. If I need to do the other one, or I need to do another video on this, we can. This is a super challenging problem. We're kind of getting to the max of this, but I needed to show you this. It took a lot of work. So let me know how you feel about that, and we might go over this again. This is the kind of thing that I need like a whole board to kind of do all the little bits and pieces on it. So until next time, bye.